Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, May the 1st. Well, with the change of the calendar from April to May, we have a changing weather pattern for the Mid-Atlantic region. For the first time in a long time, we'll be talking about a prolonged and significant rain event in the Mid-Atlantic region, something that hasn't been seen in quite a while. Many areas of the Mid-Atlantic region have very dry soil moisture, very dry conditions here. In some areas labeled as a drought. Looks like we'll put a real dent in any drought conditions in the Mid-Atlantic region by the time we get to the middle part of next week. It looks like a classic omega blocking scenario will develop in the upper part of the atmosphere. We'll show some 500 millibar charts in a moment here, revealing that omega block in the upper part of the atmosphere. Anytime you get an omega blocking pattern, you can have several days of similar weather. If you're lucky enough to fall underneath an upper level ridge, you may have several days in a row of nice weather. But if you're underneath an upper level trough, you could have several days in a row of rainy and cool conditions, and that looks like the strong possibility for the Mid-Atlantic region. Now, this is a forecast map here of the 0Z run of the GFS for the total rainfall amounts, total precipitation amounts between now and next Wednesday. And now the GFS is kind of caught on board and is a little slow to the party here with respect to this upcoming prolonged rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region. But it is caught up to the Canadian model and the European model, which both of which had some semblance of a long rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region over the past couple of days here. But here is the GFS forecast map. Again, between now and next Wednesday morning, any area in purple here is basically 2+ inches, as much as 3, 4, 5 inches on the table here. Again, it looks like the first significant rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region, prolonged for quite a while. Looks like the main activity will begin late Saturday and Saturday night and extend all the way into, certainly into Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday of next week. Also, some significant rainfall down across the south central states, especially Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Now, this is the GFS forecast map. Let's take a look right here. That's the Canadian model. Similar, the purples here, 2+ inches of rain. Same time period here we're looking at between now and next Wednesday morning. So very similar here between the GFS from last night at 0Z and the Canadian model run at 0Z. Now, before we kind of break down the forecast maps here for this upcoming event, let's take a look at the severe storm possibility as depicted here by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center. They're based out in Norman, Oklahoma. And this is basically the probability for later today into tonight. Yesterday, there were some strong to severe thunderstorms across Texas and Oklahoma, some of which produced some flash flooding conditions. Similar weather scenario for later today and tonight across Texas, Oklahoma, and all the way into the lower Mississippi Valley region. There can be some strong to severe thunderstorms in that area. Now, up to the north, kind of the same pattern we had a couple of days ago with the Ohio Valley, the western part of the Mid-Atlantic region, in line potentially for some strong to severe thunderstorms later today into tonight. Places like western Pennsylvania, the western part of West Virginia, and much of Ohio can see some heavy rainfall and some strong thunderstorms later today and tonight. Now, let's walk through last night's 0Z run of the GFS. And first, we're starting off here with the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps, and we will clearly see what looks like the Greek letter omega. That's where it gets its name, the omega blocking pattern, because the upper air flow mimics the Greek letter omega here. First of all, starting off the day here on Thursday, pretty nice conditions in the Mid-Atlantic in the northeast U.S. with an upper level ridge here overhead here. Now, let's move forward, and we do see an upper level trough situated over the north central states by midday on Friday. And then we move into the weekend. And here we go by the time we get to Sunday morning. And here is your classic omega shape right here. This is the upper air flow kind of mimicking the Greek letter omega. And this is your classic omega blocking pattern. You have an upper level low that will intensify over the Ohio Valley. You have a second one that will intensify over the southern part of California. In between, you have a strong high-pressure ridge centered over south central Canada. This is a very slow-moving pattern. Again, if you get stuck underneath an upper-level trough, you can have a few days of cool, rainy conditions. If you're lucky enough to be stuck under an upper-level ridge, you can have a few days of dry, warm conditions. In this particular case, it looks like the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic region will suffer through. I say suffer through, but actually it'll be a beneficial rainfall coming, a prolonged rain period, probably from the weekend into the middle part of next week, right in this part of the nation. So there it is. That is your classic upper level omega block here. We'll move forward here, and these systems will, of course, be slow moving. That's why we call it a blocking pattern. That upper level ridge kind of slides off to the east, but here we are now all the way into Monday of next week, still situated out of the Ohio Valley and the second upper level low over the southwestern states. We go all the way out into the middle part of next week, Tuesday, and finally into Wednesday, and still seeing some part of that upper level low right over the Mid-Atlantic region as late as next Wednesday, and that is why this will be a prolonged event in terms of rainy, cooler conditions for the Mid-Atlantic region. Very slow moving surface systems when you have that blocking pattern, that omega blocking pattern in the upper part of the atmosphere. Now we continue to have an influx of colder than normal air masses into the U.S., and earlier this week we talked about another such air mass moving in from the eastern Pacific Ocean into the western U.S., and that could and still can produce some severe weather during the first half of next week out across the nation's midsection, maybe from the front range of the Rockies to, let's say, that area from Texas to Nebraska. Monday, Tuesday night time frame. We'll talk about that over the next couple of minutes here. Starting off with warmer than normal conditions at the 850 millibar level over the Ohio Valley Mid-Atlantic region here on Thursday morning, now into the month of May. Then we move into the end of the week, into the early part of the weekend, and here we go with colder than normal air out across the middle part of the nation. And here comes that next cold shot from the Pacific Ocean, which is featuring below normal water temperatures right now, and it's leading to a lot of this influx of colder than normal air into California, into the rest of the western U.S. And here we go by the latter part of the upcoming weekend. And keep in mind here, we just saw the 500 millibar pattern, an upper level low right around here, another upper level low right around here, and an upper level ridge centered right over here. And you can see the reflection of the temperature pattern associated with those 500 millibar features here. Again, two troughs and a ridge in between here. Then we move into the early part of next week, and here we go with this battle zone area starting to set up here. By the time we get to Monday of next week, we have this area right in here that could see some strong to severe thunderstorm activity with that cold, dry air moving in from the southwestern states into the front range of the Rockies, into the nation's midsection. And again, we'll have to watch out for the possibility of severe weather out in this part of the nation during that first half of next week. Meanwhile, in the Ohio Valley, still have that upper level low sitting right above and below normal temperatures throughout the Ohio Valley at this particular time. And with a lot of clouds in the Mid-Atlantic region, surface temperatures are likely to be below normal as well in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Don't be surprised if there's an ocean flow of air east to northeast. And this is about 5,000 feet off the surface. Below this, it could be some colder than normal conditions in the I-95 corridor region. Then we get into the middle part of next week. And finally, a week from right now, still some below normal conditions extending from the southwestern states all the way into the Mid-Atlantic region, with that ridge over Canada causing some warmer than normal conditions throughout much of southern Canada and even the interior northwestern part of the U.S. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast. The surface forecast maps, again using the 0Z run of the GFS. And there will be some shower and thunderstorm activity in the Mid-Atlantic region later today, tonight, tomorrow night, into much of the day on Saturday. But much of that time period from this morning into late Saturday will be rain free. Again, an occasional shower or thunderstorm certainly on the table between now and late Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region. But the main activity for places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City begins late Saturday night time frame, and that will feature some heavy rainfall, maybe some strong thunderstorms, and then the threat of rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, perhaps even Wednesday as well. We have low pressure starting off the day here, starting off the month of May, situated over the upper Midwest this morning. We'll move forward here. And again, there will be the chance of showers later tonight, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm in the Mid-Atlantic region. Certainly much of the time will be rain-free. Same thing on Friday. Friday looks like quite a humid day in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. We really haven't had much in the way of humidity in the Mid-Atlantic region this spring season. Tomorrow and even Saturday will likely feel much more humid because the dew points will be rising in the overnight hours following the passage of a warm frontal system. By the time we get into late in the day on Friday, there'll be kind of a weak cool front here moving in. And again, that can produce some scattered showers and thunderstorms into Friday night and then into early Saturday. But much of the time will be rain-free. It's not a widespread rain event between now and let's say mid-afternoon on Saturday. Then on Saturday, there'll be an increasing chance for showers and thunderstorms along the I-95 corridor region, most likely holding off to late in the day or even early Saturday night. And I think once that rain sets in, it's going to stick around for a while. We have a low-pressure area moving along a cold frontal boundary zone right here in the eastern states by the time we get to late Saturday night. Some of that rain, again, Saturday night can be heavy at times in this part of the nation. There can be some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. And then we go into the day on Sunday, and we'll see this upper level low situated over the Ohio Valley causing a surface low situated over the Mid-Atlantic region for much of the time period from Sunday into the middle part of next week with that threat of rain here. Here we go into Tuesday. And some of this rain absolutely can turn out to be heavy at times. Again, the likelihood for at least 2 inches of rain, maybe as much as 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in this kind of a scenario for the Mid-Atlantic region by the middle of next week. And here is that setup out in the nation's midsection, really the Front Range, the plains of Colorado, eastern part of New Mexico can get in on some of this activity with strong to severe thunderstorms, a threat later Monday night, Tuesday time frame. This is the forecast map for Tuesday morning. Notice you're seeing some blue here, snow. And again, we have this classic pattern here we've had for several weeks now with a clash between cold, dry air to the west and warm, humid air off to the east, flowing out of the Gulf in this particular case up into Texas and right across the heartland here. And this is your battle zone region early part of next week. Don't be surprised if this turns into a severe weather outbreak right here. This is kind of setting a red flag. This is midday on Tuesday. Snow over the Colorado Rockies. At the same time, you have warm, humid air out over the nation's midsection. Again, I think Texas up to Nebraska, maybe this threat of severe weather includes portions of Colorado and New Mexico as well. And here we go in the east, still locked in with that upper level low sitting right on top of the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic. You still have cool, rainy conditions, it looks like Tuesday, and likely, not a guarantee, but likely into Wednesday as well here. And meanwhile, midweek down in the south central states, you still have potential for some heavy rainfall down across Texas here. So we haven't talked about this in a long time, but it looks like a prolonged and significant rain event coming to the Mid-Atlantic region, primarily focused on late Saturday night into the middle part of next week. Again, there can be some scattered showers and thunderstorms between now and late Saturday. in the Mid-Atlantic region, but I think much of the time will be rain-free, and it gets downright humid on Friday. That high humidity continues into the upcoming weekend. Again, we'll watch out for this severe weather possibility out across Colorado, New Mexico, Texas up to Nebraska during the first half of next week in that Monday, Tuesday time frame, perhaps even into the middle part of next week. Again, this is next Wednesday, and this could include some severe weather down here across Texas by the middle part of next week. That's it for now. For ArcFieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.